Okay, we are here with our Final X breakdowns. We're gonna get deep on the technique. We obviously, Matt and I do a lot of talking every week, but today we decided to get in the wrestling room, talk about what both of us saw on the matches. So the match we're starting with is, I think, probably the most highly anticipated one. If not, there's a lot that are really exciting. Zain and Yianni. So let's get into it, Matt. How's that sound?
Yep.
Okay, so let's start. I'm gonna start out. I'm Yianni. You're Zain. We might flip roles, so it might get a little confusing. One of the things that I noticed was the biggest thing is Zain loves to do that post. Boom, he's hitting there. Matt noticed that sometimes he hits the forehead, but in this match, he was mostly going here. Yianni's trying to capture this and or this and this, right? He's coming to one of these grips, and you can tell Zain doesn't like this. It slows his pace down, doesn't allow him to pull, and then Yianni also has offense off this. So Matt, show us the offense Yanni's got off this.
So what Yianni does so well, as soon as Zain makes contacts, he actually does a level change as he's getting control ties. So he's either looking to secure wrist control or elbow control, but as he does that, a lot of times he makes a subtle level change real quick, and as soon as he does a level change, he's either ducking, boom, attacking, or attacking the far side to a low leg, boom, here, or just doing even straight, boom, duck. But he's never, as soon as Zain, the key here, as soon as Zain hangs in contact, whether he's post on the head with the collar tie or post on the shoulder, if Zain's hanging, immediately Yanni's not hesitating, going into an attack.
And if you go back and watch that first US Open match, it happens right away. I want to say first 30 seconds of the match, Zain goes here, Yianni goes boom, and then attack, yep, right there, attacks that. I believe it was a knee pull, maybe one a little lower, either way.
This one was knee pull he was doing?
Yes, and so, listen, that is such a huge thing because Zain relies so much on pressure. Zain usually gets in here, pushes, boom, pulls, snaps, and relies on wearing guys out, and every time he's touching Yianni's boom, there, and now, right, when Matt's pulling my elbow, I can't pull on him. It makes it really difficult. So he's taking that offense away. Now, Zain made an in-match adjustment, which was really fantastic, and he scored on it once, his only score, and he almost scored on it twice. And I think, for me, if I'm Zain, this is something he's got to focus on. And then I know you're gonna talk about the Yianni comeback, but when Zain was touching and Yianni was grabbing, Zain started feeling that. So as the match wore on, you saw him, he was kind of doing it quicker, right? And then one time he went boom, and then he dropped. Before Yianni get home, he dropped and fired double leg, and that was when he ended, it wasn't a clean finish, but it was a finish, and he ended up splitting the middle. He got the takedown, and then he got the back points. So he got the 4 points off that one exchange. He comes back a little bit later and tries the same thing, and he got really close. I mean, Matt and I watched it, and he gets in really deep, and then Yianni did some Yianni wizardry, and Yianni actually ended up getting a takedown on him. It's just, when we're looking at it, Zain's got to get in there. He's got to get in there really, really cleanly, and he's got to finish fast on Yianni.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, he does something subtle too. He did almost a touch and go. He did a post touch and go. So he posted, and when Yianni went to reach up, he went subtle touch into his double. So he went post touch into his double, which caused Yianni, it's subtle, that touch and go caused Yianni to raise his level just slightly, because most of the time when he secured the elbow, he's not just pulling it down, that level change is actually sucking Zain into his body. So it's not just the elbow pull, it's the level change that sucks Zain down and in to Yanni's body.
Yeah,
well.
And so then the other thing we noticed, maybe a key for Yianni, man, it would be fantastic if these guys are actually watching us and listening to what we're saying. That would be great.
Yeah.
They might be. You never know. But as the match went on, if I'm Zain, as Yanni's grabbing, he was kind of pulling away, right? He was pulling away, and so that's where Yianni could probably, he's used to being in tighter here, but he can follow that pressure on the way out and fire, a low-level single, a double leg, fire something on the way out. Because Zain was pulling away and pulling away and pulling away, and that's something Yianni could probably take advantage of.
I think, that's a subtle adjustment from the first match. Zain, he almost created a pattern. As soon as he knew that he was giving up elbow control, he was just clearing out, backing straight up, violating position. He wasn't controlling, circling out. It was straight backing out. And what we're saying there is this is where Zain could just, or Yianni could just pull the trigger. I'm Zain, he's backing out. I'm on my heels. Yianni could actually catch him on his heels
And Yianni's thing really isn't shooting from space. You almost never see him do it, but there were a few times at the US Open, not just in the final match, but the Oliver match or the Molinaro match, where he covered some really good distance on his attacks. I mean, it's something I was kind of shocked because it was something we hadn't seen on him a lot, but he definitely covered the space. So the last thing, Matt, I want to get to that I think Yianni does so well, and I'm going to break down a detail here, is this, I call it the Trella position because Ryan Trella did it way back in the NCAA finals, but we'll just go to that, I'll go off that double, but Yianni does this a lot. So Zain hits that double, boom, and he sprawls and gets his hips back, and then what he does, he actually slides the head all the way to the outside mat. Now, he shoots this knee forward, and what he's aiming to get this elbow on the back of the knee, okay? Now, in the initial scramble of this, he gets the elbow up here, but you see he readjusts and gets it down here. Now, the deal with getting the elbow down here is that if Matt tries to push back into this elbow, so push your butt back, Matt, it's gonna tighten him up for that cradle. So Matt can't actually push back, so then it makes it easy for me to start moving Matt forward. Get another look at this. The other thing the not elite people do here is they get up here on the hamstring. And so when I get to the hamstring, if Matt wants to straighten that hip out, he can straighten it out, and then he gets down there, and now look, I'm stretched out, and I don't really have anything good to go to. Okay, when I get down here, now Matt can't straighten that out, and now again, once I start driving forward, he's either forced to give up position or get cradled. Which obviously, wrestlers don't like giving up position, and that's why you see Yianni get so many cradles out of position, because he's behind the knee, and they don't really have another option. They just don't realize they don't have another option yet. Right. So I think when we're looking at Yianni, that's one of the things he does best in that position, and he scored, I believe, twice on Zain from not the cradle, but from that position.
Yeah, I think one last thing, when we talk about execution in the match, when we talk about Zain Retherford, he probably dictates the highest pace in the entire world, one of them.
Well, Bahrain got that pace too.
But the interesting thing that Yianni's been able to do is negate the things that Bahrain and Zain did, and he does that by really controlling center. You
never see him get tired. You don't see Yianni get tired.
And he's efficient. He's efficient in his output. Like, he's controlling center. He's got a low center of gravity. His butt's underneath him. His head's really up, and he's moving forward, but he's almost waiting for Zain to initiate contact. And when Zain initiates contact, that's when he goes. But what he doesn't ever do, as Zain's moving forward, you never see Yianni retreating, right?
Oh, yeah.
When Zain's coming to attack post or club, you never see Zain or Yianni exit the position. He's always, as soon as Zain's coming, he's lower level changing, controlling, getting his head up, and he's controlling the center. It's a subtle thing, but established over the course of 6 minutes, it really creates a lot of advantages.
And you're never letting Zain get the edge to use to his advantage either. So, and we saw that in Yianni's other matches. Okay, that's our breakdown. Yianni, Zain, I think it's gonna be interesting. I think we're gonna see a lot of the position we talked about. I think that hand battle is one of the most important things, and we'll see that this Saturday at Final X.